Okay, hello and welcome back to our Pillars of Eternity all challenge modes active playthrough brought to you by GameInOne.com. Today we shall explore first fires, I think. Yeah. That seems out right.
Hey.
Gods keep you.
What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you? Tell me about the Republics. They are rich in all ways, in wealth, in style, in culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I am here because the Sangreta Ducala wishes it, but when my appointment is done, I will be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. If there is nothing else, I must return to my duties. What are those? Ask the Valdian ambassador. My job is to ensure trade with the Deerwood remains profitable and strong. Okay. His posting show current prices of a range of commodities and the track the running exchange rate from the Balian Lush. Spread across the table are the blueprints for an in-progress trade deal between the merchant company from the Republics and a Irbudian Weirwool collective. Okay. Thought these notes would be useful, but actually they are not.
Hey.
What is it?
Yes?
Of course.
Okay, no alien ambassador. Get out of here. That was quick. Alright.
Welcome.
Aldemar gives you an appreciative eye. Judging by the scars on his face, he's lucky to be able to do that much. Every day we get more of the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you've recently arrived yourself. Who are you? A soldier from the Crucible Knights. I'm proud of it. I'll keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Cliver can focus on more important matters. Looking for something or just knocking the dirt off your boots? What goes on here? These are the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armor as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander Cliver's in the back making plans as usual. He scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building along with our master smith Dunstan. There is also a shrine to the golem if you're the praying type. Tell me about the knights. We are the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Cliver I said that, he grins. We were the first organized militia to oppose Aedirian rule, and today are the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in Dunrit Row. What's that place? But just a requirement of the Crucible Knights. So higher-ups know there's nothing messy built in your soul's past. Almart widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish there was more careful in hiring their ciphers. What's wrong with them? He shifts his weight and glances at empty halls. They are mostly Orlans. I'm sure they are talented enough, but you just can't trust them. Hostility is in their nature. They have learned to hide it over the years. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? It sounds fair enough. Exactly, but it seems like you can hardly make a simple statement like that without something wanting to draw still over it. I have information about Eorn. He glances around cautiously and leans towards you. He lowers his voice. Eorn, you said. What came of him? I found him in the catacombs under Copper Lane and killed him there. Well, nicely done there. Eorn seemed to, and already buried at that. The website does a good deal of work. You've done the Crucible Knights a real service and we won't forget that. Here, something for your trolls. Happy to help. Kruken, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Darth, does hereby certify that Noishet A.M. Pelhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influence or tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Darth and signed by both Pelhelm and Curie. Waila. The Justiciars gave flicks over to you briefly before returning to the Noishites guard in the training area. If this is out patrols, my Noishites are already stretched to their limit. Between the refugee influx and the mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. After a pause, she looks over at you again. I'm sorry. Was there something else you need? Is there something wrong at Heritage Hill? She lowers her voice. What isn't wrong is the real question. A whole district of walking flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there. And yet, this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumors about the place floating around the keep without my soldiers whispering out these disappearances. She shakes her head. I would just as soon abandon the district. But if those monsters could find a way out, I could look into it. She steps back and regards you. After what I've just told you, you want to go to Heritage Hill? I lost trained soldiers there. Why would I let anyone in? If people are disappearing, someone's got to figure out what's happening to them. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I want to stop you. She quietly looks at the Noishites. And if you're somehow able to put a stop to this, you've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill. I'll send word to the guards on the gate. Tell me about that place. Used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay, but a few months ago, the residents all went mad, starting eating each other, and anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now, every Noishiite that stands guard there, everyone that comes back anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. The why and the how are questions for the Animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working for now. If there is nothing else, I must attend to my duties. What are those? I'm in charge of the keep's Noishites. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods to a group gathered in the training room. They're good soldiers, and they have been quick to adapt to the new challenges. Okay. An altar to the golem. I can leave an offering, you know, one of these. This is the symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer imposed on a circular gear, smooth and bright with bubbling oils. Okay. Whatever they say. The mess hall. This painting shows a row of warriors standing atop the walls of Defiant Bay with 80 ships sailing away. Now this place is huge.
Just don't have the manpower.
Well, I guess it's your lucky day. Ooh. The system is really stupid. Map shows the environs surrounding Defiant Bay. Flags mark strategic access points to the city.
Refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll lead twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
You're in charge of the Crucible Knights. Here in Defiance Bay, anyhow, the High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed in Fleet Breaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and to keep order for the Duke. Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleet Breaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Hailmore. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
With so many newcomers, can't you just recruit them? More recruits means more training, which means more time for experienced soldiers that I don't have. He half turns away from you. Anyhow, I hardly see how this is any of your concern, but if you got the time to ask me about it, then perhaps you got the time to do something constructive. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an animancy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights. Warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience, or fear. Some agitator throws a rock at them. We don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my initials have checked. Vienna lives with the rest of the scriveners in Copper Lane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to a Scrivener's dormitory and see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyway. Once you brought him the research, he can sell you any arms or armor if you have need. He forges and repairs all of our equipment. You won't find a more capable smith in the city. Tell me about the knights. Crosses his hands behind his back. We are the only professional army in Defiance Bay, and or in the Deerwood for that matter. We defended the city in Hadred's day. We have improved our training since then, but Dunrid Rowe can certify that many of our officers come from good Deerwoodian fighting stock. Now we're responsible for patrolling the city and keeping the peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. Tell me about these enterprising families. House Doemenel, namely, they are one of the city's oldest noble families and its largest criminal organization. Their patriarch Getmar has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. We have kept on top of him and he hasn't been too happy about that. And the dozens he snorts. They are demagogues and trollmakers. They forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world, and not just some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries in a good day and strict dogs the rest of the time. Needless to say, we've got no patience for law and order. Okay, let's find this Dunbar fellow. Dunstan, whatever his name is.
Time to see and not be seen.
Thick grime cakes the bottom of the tub. The towel hanging from the side gives an awful stench, just like the rest of the place, I'll bet. Dunstan.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
Commander Cleaver said you're working with an animancer to build the Forge Knights.
So much for his talk of secrecy. I'm building Cleaver's metal warriors. He says they're what we need to keep order in Defiance Bay, so...
And you need Biana's research to complete them. She's been working out a method to transfer the souls into the armor. Getting the process just right is critical. He holds one hand. Bind the souls too tightly and you get something like those flesh constructs at the sanitarium. Barely bright enough to avoid walking into a wall. He raises his other hand, but bind them too loosely and they'll be too self-aware for their own good. Mad killers in metal bodies. How are you creating these knights? Suits of armor and souls. Clyber had me repairing and reinforcing unused armor for months now, just so he can fill them with some poor sod's essence. He wipes his shining brow. As long as the scholar girl got her numbers right, infusing the armor with a soul won't be that hard, but that's not what bothers me. Then what does? I disagree with Clyber on near everything, and this is no exception. The Forged Knights won't solve our manpower problem. He can call them what he wants, but they aren't knights. He folds his arms and looks around. And don't get me started on the other problem. The souls he's brought to power the Forged Knights. Cliver keeps telling himself that they come from willing donors, but he knows better. There's a reason you have to buy souls through less than legal channels. We should be clearing those scavengers off the road, not doing business with them. Okay. Less than legal, what the hell does that mean? Good, enough. What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
Tell me about those roots.
We were all smiths back in Hodred's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Cleaver takes more pride in our parade formations.
He thinks himself a progressive man, but he's obsessed with soul genius, connections to the Irwood heroes of old. He picks up his hammer again, other than Danrit Drow, who really knows about any of that though. Okay. Penghelm. Aha. The young novitiate's armor is recently shined, and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. Are you looking for something? Does the name Osric sound familiar? He sniffs. If you got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his friends at the Expedition Hall for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, the lot of them. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. It became property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's not for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find an armor that was used in the rebellion. What's the story between you two? Osric has always held some controversial opinions. They went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. He frowns and crosses his arms. He finally went too far. He had the goal to suggest that we had strayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble Aedri nobility. He rubs a spot on his bracer with a silk handkerchief. He would have us all wear rogue spawn and fight with forged hammers. I merely reported these statements. I don't see a problem. He spotters. People change. Organization change. The Crucible Knights began as a militia of blacksmiths, but Dunstan's one of the only officers who can wield a hammer these days. We're professional soldiers, isn't what you want defending a city? Besides, a novitiate has no business maligning his superiors. And in that case, if the knights obsessed over their past, they wouldn't have grown into a fighting force they are today. Pelham notes, I quite agree, and that's why Osric has no place here. He says your affiliate is a forgery. Just what would he know of that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions. What with his pedigree in the Knights, he folds his arms. It's a lie, of course. Enough. Tell me about the Knights. We are the primary defendants of the Defiance Bay. The Order founders were the first to rally for Dirwulian independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now, we are the most prestigious company of soldiers in the Irwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches his nose. If you can't forget out the barracks, that is. Anything else? How does someone become a knight? We don't take just anyone. Our members share solely legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his height and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cliver is responsible for initiation, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Okay. So, Xenophoic and Snowish. Perfect people for the police forces, isn't it? Okay, where else do we have to go? I think anywhere, honestly. Let's go to Copper Lane. Search for this Bian. Don't even know where the hell she could be. Well, in all honesty, I don't have to go up there.